Hello, thank you very much for tuning in to this week's reads. For the main part of the read, I'm using RPG Tarot deck by, I want to say, Jeff Aldrich and John Taylor. Yep. And the website is Simon & Schuster here at the bottom. Feel free to freeze frame and check that out if you're interested in this deck or stuff by those people, of course. Supportive Oracle cards, Wisdom of the Hidden Realms by Colette Baron Reed. I know there's a few websites on the bottom here. Feel free to freeze frame and check those out. There's also a Colette Baron Reed website. I'll give you that information here too. And also about the illustrator Jenna. There's Jenna's full name. Hopefully that's focusing. And there's some information on her, I believe, and some websites at the bottom. And last but not least, I use dice. I use a 22-sided dice for the major arcana, substituting 22 for 0 for the Fool, and 14-sided dice for the minor arcana, with a 4-sided dice choosing the element for the minor arcana. It's from the Dice Shop. They are from the Dice Shop. MathArtFun.com is the website. Hopefully you can read that if you're interested. That being said, if you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's james4astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. And with that being said, let's get into your reading. Hello, Cancer. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Cancer? Dun, da, da, da. There's a good energy here. That's it. We're very, it is what it is energy going on here. It's a good reading, though. So I don't think there's anything bad. But there is something here about seeing it for what it actually is versus maybe just kind of I feel like I'm not looking at something too closely. But I also feel like they're kind of going to push, but you can, and it'll be better. It'll be better. It's not bad. There's something here I keep feeling like maybe I don't want to look at this too closely. Especially when I look at the High Priestess in the past, because this is I feel like that's a Cthulhu reference. If you know who Cthulhu is, you can look it up if you want, but it's very interesting. Kind of looking at the past, kind of the situation, it's not always been fun. It's worked out. It's just not always been fun. And I feel like I've learned to not look too closely. And it's just, there's certain things here you don't have any control over. Certain people are going to make their decisions. They're going to do what they want to do. And sometimes it's harder because it's I don't want to be cleanup crew. And I feel like some of these situations I just end up being cleanup crew. And I didn't make the decision. I don't want that to happen. I didn't want it to happen to begin with, and I feel like I don't like playing cleanup crew. I just don't like doing that. So sometimes I just don't look too closely. It makes sense why you feel the way you do. And it's I want to keep liking certain pieces of this, and it's easier for me to like it if I just don't look too closely. I'm very bonded in this situation too. But there's certain people here that I just feel like they just don't do what they should do. And I'm not even sure if they can do better. I feel like that's harder for me. I try not to look at it too closely because I'm I don't want to think about it too much. Because they are who they are. They are, it almost reminds me of somebody who married into the family, or somebody I'm friends with them and then now they're seeing this person, or maybe they have a child or something. And it's adding into the situation, and I'm they're going to be there. And I just got to... I feel like there's only so much I can do, and I just got to keep my mouth shut, or else I'm going to have issues. It's I don't have to keep my mouth shut, but I feel like for the outcome I want, I feel like I kind of need to keep getting along. Take that with a grain of salt. Readings are for entertainment purposes only. We all know that, right? There's some stress with this, and there's certain parts that I don't like, but overall I do, and I'm just like, it feels like a package deal. Feels like a package deal. It just does. It reminds me of going to somebody's house to eat, and it's kind of like they're going to make this certain thing, and I'm like, I can eat it, but I don't like eating it. And it's like I don't want to insult them by not eating any of it, so I'm like, I try to be careful. I don't know, it feels weird. It feels very political in a way. And it does bring a lot of stress to you. But they're saying this situation is changing. Okay, so the stress seems to be changing. Something does seem to be evolving. Because I get, like, in the situation itself, it's evolving. Somebody is realizing that they need to change how they handle something because they're coming up to this moment where it just feels like it's either going to get better or it's going to get worse. And they seem to understand that they need to make that decision. Where they currently are, it's either going to get better or it's going to get worse. And they seem to realize that they have to make a decision to actively make it better or actively make it worse. Not making a decision makes it worse. So it's almost like default to worse or choose to make it better. And they seem to understand that they need to do this. So this is moving forward. Positive energy is coming forward towards you. I think what the issue is not that it's getting better, but it's like, because it is seeming to get better, but it's kind of like, yeah, but is it just better for today? Yeah, but is it just better for like the next month or two? Or is it just better for this year? Is it going to stay better? And I feel like I'm very worried about that. And it makes me want to kind of like keep my distance from it. Because I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I'm getting sucked into something I don't want to get sucked into. Kind of like, yeah. And it's not like I don't want to help. It's just like I'm nervous that like I get sucked into the situation. It was good for X amount of time. However amount of time. And then it's kind of like, it goes to the side, and here I am in cleanup crew again. And I'm worried about it. They're saying that it doesn't have to be all out or all in, also. Because maybe I'm feeling like maybe that's what I'm getting... Maybe that's how I'm feeling about it. It's like all in or all out. Maybe that's one of the things that it's weighing on you a little heavily. It's giving you some stress. It feels like it's either I'm all in or I'm all out. I don't feel like it has to be that way. Step back and look at it and kind of like, is there a way I can just be partially a part of this? That way I can just see how it goes, and if it keeps getting better, I can reevaluate if I want to keep going or not. Vice versa, if it doesn't go the way I want it to, I can pull back a little easier and it doesn't have to be that big a deal. Can I be partially in and partially out? Can I just be there part-time? Is that something I can actually do here? Does that actually make sense? The bigger picture coming in. The Lover's card reversed, Seven of Swords, right side up. I feel like what they're saying is like the best, well, one of the better ways to consider, is stay close enough so you can keep your eye on it. Which I still feel like is painful because it's like, yeah, but if I know something isn't going well, it's going to pull on my heartstrings. It's going to be hard. But I feel like the advice here is to like, don't expect it to go well. Don't expect it to fail. Just kind of like, let's see what it does and just stay close enough so you can see the bigger picture. Just stay close enough for now to see the bigger picture. That's an idea. Something to consider. Because I'm getting like, you don't have to completely walk away to kind of just like stay on the outskirts of it with the Seven of Swords. I actually like this version of the Seven of Swords that I'm kind of getting here. You don't have to be in the middle of it, but it's kind of like, I can get out of the rough water just far enough to see what's happening in the rough water, not be totally out of it, but be in a place where I can comfortably manage it. Because like the Six of Swords is kind of like moving on from rough waters to a better time. It's not showing any land in the distance in this one, but it's kind of like, well, that's kind of the point though. Still in the water, still like not completely out of the issue, but like away from it enough so I can navigate it more comfortably. Again, something to consider. I think what you're going to see is like a good shock, And there's going to be restriction with this, but I don't think it's a bad thing. A good shock is going to come in with this coming in right here. Like, whoa, what's going on with that? Is it actually going to get better? Do we believe it could? Because I feel like I'm not expecting that. I'm like, oh. It's going into another level where actually now it has to get better. It's like they're doubling down. Okay, this has changed. And I feel like I wasn't seeing this version of the possibility coming forward. I wasn't seeing this version being a reality, maybe. Not that it was completely out of possibility, but I wasn't thinking it was going to be a part of reality. And it's kind of like, I'd like to believe in that, but is that real? And I get that Five of Swords energy still coming in. And this is the Four of Swords, but the Five of Swords is on the dice. And it was kind of looming over the situation still. And the Five of Swords is like, all right, it's better, but is it going to stay? Does it, even though it's a win, does it really, like, if we're like looking at like a championship, this is one win, but is it enough to actually make a difference? There is healing here, and it's kind of like, I'd like to believe that this could actually work. I'd like to believe that this is a step forward in a good way, in a very positive way. I'd love to believe in it. I feel like this is where I see this going. Like, I'd love to believe in it. I just don't even know if that's smart to believe in it. I'd love to. I just don't know if it makes sense to. Something to consider is to not just be like, well, this is a pass or fail moment. It's one in many games. Like, if we're going towards the championship, this is one of many games. This one went well. To try to resist the judgment part, to try to resist that, and maybe kind of like look at it more in the sense of like, all right, it's been going well. Couple games we won. Couple situations have gone well. Let's give it some time and see if it can keep going. And I feel like they're saying, again, you don't have to get knee deep in this. You don't have to get neck deep or whatever. You don't even have to get your feet in the water. But it's kind of like, give some pointers. Give some help where you can. Kind of promote it. Kind of like say, acknowledge, like, hey, this is going well. Good for you. That's a cool thing. This is a moment where you can get as close as you feel comfortable and give some encouragement. That's something to consider. You don't have to actually be in there doing it. But even just giving some encouragement, giving somebody some accolades, like, hey, I see you're doing well, good for you, I'm really, like, good, I'm glad this is going well for you, great. Giving that positive reinforcement, it could be as little as that, could make a very big impact. Because I'm getting, like, watch for the long game and try to give that positive reinforcement. If you're going to do a little bit to help, just being comfortable where I can do this little bit and not feel like I'm tied right into the situation. Whatever that is for you. That's something to consider. That could go really well for you. I'm getting, as the time keeps moving forward, this is a slow one step situation. It may take some time, but this situation, you may be surprised. Over time, it could actually go where you actually think it should be anyway. And it's going to be slow and steady, but I also get with slow and steady, it might lock in a way that's positive from here on out, and it's very hard to shake it. It could be a lot better. It's readings for entertainment purposes only. Take it with a grain of salt. But I'm getting, like, you might be surprised at how good this situation could get over time. It's the long road there, but I feel like when I'm getting the Cancer energy for this, I'd rather have it where I can believe in it and I feel very confident it's going to stay where it is versus, like, a moment of goodness. I need more than a moment of goodness. I need, like, a lifetime of positive reinforcement that it will stay where it should stay. And it feels like it's heading that way. Somebody is making that decision and realizing that they have to make a decision. Either make it better or make it worse, but it's like defaulting is going to make it worse. And I feel like somebody's making a positive decision in your favor, or at least in a direction where you feel like it's a favorable direction. Are we good? I think we're there. All right. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.